if they do that, they're going to be very, 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 very tough to beat.
Wilson! Oh! And we're tied!
Let's go! Call them by Slamma.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. Report me acting ignorant.
Dayon Kris got his way through, and he may go! Kris is in! Houston leads out of nowhere!
Seventh heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their seventh Final Four.
Go Cougs! Let's go! It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars!
Welcome into this edition of Let's Rage Coogs presented by the Saxenian family. A big shout out to our secondary sponsor, In-Star Pizza. We are coming off the heels of the University of Houston Cougars football team's 30-27 victory over UCF in what was their Space U themed game. And for the first time ever in those uniforms, the University of Houston Cougars handed UCF their first loss in those games, proving that Houston is the top space city. They didn't say Orlando, we have a problem. They said Houston when they first stepped on the moon. Kris, Dayon, how are you doing on this Friday night? Friday Night Lights, Houston got a dub.
I'm relieved. I mean, it's a good win. It's good like that.
I'm kind of relieved, but I'm just like, we got out with the dub. I think we never really. I mean, we had four turnovers, and it was still tied at one point. And so it's like, I mean, they trying to give it to us. Like Kris, I'm relieved. Glad we got the dub.
Yeah, not the prettiest of games. Definitely an ugly victory for Houston, but granted, you'll take the win. Houston now improves to 8-2 on the season. They're 5-2 with their conference record in the Big 12. Looking at the final stats, Connor Wegman finished 20 for 31 on his pass attempts, 223 passing yards, threw for 2 touchdowns. Also had 3 interceptions, and he had a couple that were just bad decision making. For the second straight week in a row, he threw a pick 6. Looking at the receiving numbers, Tanner Kojo led all at the tight end. Tanner Kojo led all receivers with 8 catches for 66 yards. Amari Thomas led in receiving yards with 5 catches for 103 receiving yards, and he had that big touchdown on that long bomb in the first half that kind of got Houston's offense going. Connor Wegman once again led the team in rushing. He had 82 rushing yards. DJ Butler stepped up. He had some really, really good runs, especially on that final drive for Houston, I guess technically penultimate drive for Houston when they kicked the go-ahead field goal. But he was instrumental in that final drive. He finished with 14 carries, 69 rushing yards in the victory for Houston. Where do we start? Because there's a lot of areas you got to tip your hat to this Houston Cougars defense after not having a good performance against West Virginia a week ago. They tightened things down. They held UCF to just 3 points in that second half, and the offense was not doing them a lot of favors throughout this game, but the defense kept holding serve, and they didn't really let the Knights do much at all for most of the game.
Yeah, I agree with Corey Miller's comment. I was glad they stuck with the run and really kept pounding them the rock toward the end and really in the second half running the ball. And as you touched on it, Connor Wegman, his interception, those are some bad decisions, man. He really locked in on some receivers and made some bad throws, and the defense did their part. Now, the UCF receiver was open. The backup quarterback was late seeing him to make the throw, but hey, Cougs defense came up with the pick. That's what matters. Cougs did enough to get the win. It sure as hell wasn't pretty. Connor Wegman, he's got to get rid of these. He was doing great for a while. Like he's interception prone the last couple of weeks, but it's a win. Let's move on and let's accept it.
Yeah, running game definitely took over in the second half. And I think as I'm watching, I'm thinking, okay, we're Big 12 O line, and we was leaning on them boys in the second half, and really just able to wear them down, and get 4, 5, 6 yards of carry, especially on that last drive. I wish we would have punched it in, but that's really what took us over in the second half, and I think it was smart in using Connor continuously in the run game as well. And so, I mean, it was good up. Defense really buckled down. They got 3 and out, forced them to switch to that backup quarterback who that penalty almost hurt us at the end. That sportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, for sure.
But Webb came through, got that big one. So we in good dub. I mean, it's always going to be some tough battles. We just made the plays we needed to win the game, even though we had such too many turnovers.
And it's amazing, not amazing, but you can see how that bad snap on first down, first and goal, messed up the momentum because the Cougs O-line was running and pounding and picking up 4 or 5 yards to carry. But then the bad snap, Connor had to fall on the ball, second and long. Everything was disrupted after that, so it had to settle for the field goal. But offense had 400-plus yards, but the interceptions, the pick six, what can we talk? What can we say? It's a win. I mean, it wasn't pretty. Connor made some decisions that you really wouldn't
I mean,
expect a vet to
our
make.
own pick six that we got was big
Right.
too, though.
That was
pick
a
six
great
we
play.
got,
That was a great defensive
that
play.
was huge for us. I mean, that DB made some great plays. He had 3 picks, so he was able to read and break on it. Like rarely see one player getting 3 picks.
For sure.
I mean, even being on the opposite side, I was like, that boy making plays, and so hats off to him. But our pick six that we made, and then was able to stop that run game. It seemed like their running back was explosive when he got in the open field. When we was able to get some penetration, they was getting false start penalties, pushing them back, which actually helped our defense. And so I just looking at it like we made the plays that we needed to win the game, and going on the next week to TCU.
Which is different than last week. The defense did make the plays when needed.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. That's, hey, 8-2. That's a bigger plus.
Absolutely. Really talking about this game, and I want to bring up a comment that I saw earlier by EI Crab. He says that he feels like it's become way too predictable when it comes to passing targets, especially after the loss of Boogie Johnson. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree or disagree? What do you guys feel are some of the reasonings behind some of these picks that we're seeing from Wakeman?
I mean, I think some of it on obvious downs, we're passing primarily in certain situations to certain players. So I think the play calling, the pass situation kind of is somewhat predictable. I think he was eyeing down Amari
That part.
Thomas.
Yeah.
And instead of, I think, going on, getting off his read and going to the next. So as I'm watching, looking like he's being a one read quarterback, in which I think he's better than that, to be able to go from one read to the next and the next, be able to process the information pretty quickly, make accurate throws. Because one of the times Thomas was open, he just threw it behind him. Then he was able to pick it. That's the pick six.
Yeah.
So the other two was just good plays, and from what I saw. But I think they could have some different concepts for the passing game. But then at the same time, we draw up the one play with Thomas. I think it looked like a double route, a double move. He beat him, and so it's like I agree though. Just a little adjustments.
It's adjustments, it's execution, but Connor's last couple of weeks, I don't know if teams are seeing it on film, on video, when he locks in on a receiver and doesn't go through his progressions. That's could be part of it as well. But when it's part of being a number one option. Tanner Kojiel, Amari Thomas, they're 1 and 1A. Everybody knows that. But it's up to the defense to stop it. So if you have the right schemes and right plays, it doesn't matter. It should not matter what defense does if you do your part. And the double move, Amari Thomas, he's shown to be one of the best receivers in Big 12.
Oh, by far.
He's leading Big 12 in receiving yards right now.
Yeah, 3 TDs last week. They schemed for him tonight. I'm sure they did. He was tops in their scouting report. He still got it done.
Yeah.
Connor made some mistakes.
Especially, well, just one final thought about Amari Thomas. It seems like he's just racking up 100 receiving yard games, and he's just been phenomenal for Houston this season. And then going back to Connor, the pick six or the first pick he threw where he started down Tanner Koziel again, like it looked like they had an advantage right there because Tanner, I believe, he was being guarded by a defensive back that clearly Tanner had the height advantage, and I don't know. It seemed like Connor was just late on that throw. The DB made a great play, and he jumped in front of the pass and intercepted it on that first interception of the game. So uh, decision making is just something that seems to have to get cleaned up. But it could also be the case right now. Top two targets are Kojo and Thomas, and every now and then the defensive backs are able to make great reads on the ball.
Now, Tanner Coach is 6'7". Sometimes Connor needs to throw the ball 10 like he's 6'7". Okay, if you need to throw it up higher, let's have to reach up, use his reach, do that. Instead of being late on the passes, like you mentioned, Andy, and Dayon as well. Defense has a job to do, yes, obviously. But the QB needs to do his part and throw where only his people can catch it.
Yeah.
And Connor has not done that the last 2 weeks. Like he did the first, 8 games.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, before the West Virginia game, we were talking about his touchdown to interception ratio. I think he only had 3 interceptions coming into the game before West Virginia, and then obviously now he's thrown five in the past 2 games, and that's whatever it is. They got to clean that up. I want to see Anthony 37's comment. Surprised that DJ Butler led in carries again. He had been showing flashes throughout the season, and tonight down the stretch, he was the guy, and he did it both, not just carrying out the backfield, but he was making some plays, catching the ball as well in open space.
He's a good mix with Dean Connors, and he runs hard. He's got a little more of a burst. They're both strong. They can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So it's a good mix combination. I like it.
I think he's a little bit more complete. I think they're both complete backs, but I think he's a little bit more explosive.
Yep.
And elusive. But at the same time, towards the end, he's falling forward and leaning forward, getting an extra 2 or 3 yards. So he seems to be between the tackle carries as well. We still haven't seen Barnett the last couple of games. I'm surprised about that.
I don't know. We'd have to ask, folks, colleagues who spend more time at practice and with the team, if anything's going on with that, or just Butler's pass him up in the depth chart. Who knows? I don't know. I'll say that I don't know.
Yeah, Crab mentions it was good to see Houston defense play much better, especially in the fourth quarter. Corey Platt, Rook Brown, Control Webb, Jordan Allen, Will James all played well. And again, they a lot of times were getting put in positions where they weren't set up to succeed, and they kept holding serve each and every time.
I think their personal pride was wounded with their performance last week. So they did a good job and bounced back and got back to playing much better defensively, Cougar defense, more execution, and they finally got some takeaways tonight as well. So that helps too. And it was needed because the offense had a lot of, not a lot, but costly mistakes that could have cost them this game.
Yeah, the defense definitely came up and made plays. All them boys that he mentioned. And it was just timely plays. It was just complimentary football. Defense stepping up even after the turnover, making them settle for a field goal. And then they just making plays. That's why they make a quarterback switch for no reason. I mean, defense kept us in it even after those turnovers. So wait for them to step up, and then the offense, when they really need it, is able to move the ball by running the ball, and that's just kind of shows the toughness and the identity, I think, of our football team and of the program. I mean, it's fourth quarter grinding out. Toughest team wins, more conditioned team wins, and we got it done.
What do y'all think about Scott Frost's decision to go with at that time of the game to change quarterbacks?
I could have seen if he was like trying to mix it in because he was a lot quicker and a lot faster. So I thought maybe they're going to try to switch it in on an obviously run play. quarterback draws and read options, then try to get the other guy in as a passer. So it was surprising in that moment, game-winning moment, but at the same time, that's when stars are born. So he makes that pass, he makes those runs. We having a different conversation right now, and so
Yeah, it was. I
yeah,
mean, it was going good until it didn't
Yeah.
for
right.
them. Like, cause he, like Dayon said, he was making big plays with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess when looking from Frost, he just wanted to inject some kind of life into the offense that had quite just been held down and shut out for much of that second half. And if they would have drive down the field, if he connects, if he sees the receiver that was streaking open down earlier, we were talking about what a gutsy call, what a play, and instead it's Control Webb that has the play of the game with the pick.
Yeah. I want to go back. Who was the comment here? What do y'all think about this? Is it finally time to consider Key might be starting next year, as in Keyshawn Henderson?
Come on, man. See, that's fans. So he got to get it. Come on.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, of course not. He's still in
No.
high school. He got to get to college, and you know how many 5-star quarterbacks play freshman year,
And he's
true
got to get
freshman.
stronger. He all kinds of
Yeah,
things.
but it's new territory for Houston because we ain't had no top quarterback come here,
Right.
so we're gonna had the biggest expectations ever,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, not so fast, my friend.
Well put, Mr. Corso. Yep. And this too. I'll admit this. When I saw this stat on the broadcast,
Yeah.
that the Cougs have the most one-score wins since 2021. Yeah, that surprised me too. Yeah.
They probably got most of them during that 2021 season. Because I remember a lot of their wins that year were
Yeah, that's
one
true.
score
Yep.
games. And then 2022, they had a lot of one score wins too. So they probably piled up in those years. And then 23 and 24, they didn't pile up that many wins. But even last year, most of their wins were one score, with the exception of the upset when they played. Who was it? It wasn't Utah. It was K-State.
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 Yep.
With,
Mm-hmm.
Real quickly, I'd like to take a moment once again, thank everybody that's taking the time to join us on this Friday night following Houston's 30-27 victory over UCF. This is Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian family, the original Houston postgame show for each and every single football and men's basketball game. We'll be right back at it tomorrow evening, or at least y'all will be at it with Fluff following Houston men's basketball, their game against Towson, and their second game of the season. Big shout out to Steve Saxenian for being a primary sponsor not only of this edition of LRC, but each and every single post-game show this season. And also a big thank you to Mike and Jennifer Pittman with Star Pizza, with 3 different locations in the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to stop before and after the game. Be sure to visit them online at starpizza.net and check them out on social media at Star Pizza HOU on X and Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. Also, big thank you to them for giving us a lot of tickets to give away the past 2 weeks. We just gave away a pair of tickets to the Towson game tomorrow between U of H and Towson, and we're in the process of trying to give away the women's basketball tickets. We've encountered some problems with the My UH accounts to transfer them, so hopefully we can figure that out and we can send someone front row to see Coach Mitchell and what he's put together at Fertitta Center.
And at some point, Dayon and I are going to have Let's Rage Coogs for women's basketball this season, post-game show. So look for that in the not too distant future.
Yeah, stay tuned.
So if anybody wants to start sponsoring that, hit up Andy on the email. We can get that happening too.
Shout out NIL Super Stickers. We with Kenneth Bowman, we did the preview to this show, and we had someone gracious with 20 super sticker chat. So never any of them. We'll take anything when it comes to support, any multiple ways to support. Let's Rage Cook /Pod Slammadama / the Houston Roundball Review. I'm looking at X, and I'm looking at this quote from Joseph Duarte of the Houston Chronicle. He tweeted out Willie Fritz after the game. Said they showed the team a video on Thursday night that explained Houston ties to NASA. And the quote is, "We're Space City. When they call back in, they say Houston." So Willie Fritz buying into the Houston is the true Space City. And for tonight, they went out. They proved it with the victory over UCF, handing them their first loss in those uniforms. They were 8-0 before that, and now they're 8-1.
But I will give UCF credit for how they market and promote it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
big
think that's
time.
something
For real.
UH could
Be a
borrow
part of.
/ steal from. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we're the world famous Space City News. Houston is the real Space City. I mean, Houston, but yeah, they can really market that better. I agree.
Justin,
It's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, I take it Justin does not have ESPN Plus with his comment here. Not every game is going to be on TNT. Not every game is going to be on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU. ESPN Plus is still part of ESPN. They got to have a handful of games. So every conference member has to be on ESPN Plus, part of the contract with the conference. I mean, with the Cougs going to be on ESPN Plus, I think 3 times non-conference, and that's it. I think. I don't believe that any of their conference games are going to be on ESPN Plus. Peacock, yes, but it's what it is.
Oh
You
yeah, I
know?
forgot we're changing the name of Spice City Stadium next year. I forgot about that.
I hope that happens because it's been quiet for a while, so I hope it hasn't fallen through for whatever reason. Do some digging and asking about that. But Houston got to. Thank you for the fans tuning in this late night with us on Let's Rage Coogs.
Yeah.
You know, so cross the 200 thresholds. Join us again tomorrow, as Andy said, kind of evening.
Probably be a 4
5 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4:30, 5 o'clock, as we discuss Houston's win over Towson. That will be a win. So, we all know that. We all assume that for sure. But this one,
Yeah.
Andy or anybody comment on it. What is there anything that you've seen differently in Connor Wigman these last 2 weeks to account for these interceptions and these turnovers?
Well, going back to like I mentioned, the first pick when he was trying to throw to Tanner, I think, like you guys have alluded to, he just seems to be locking in on some of his targets. Now, granted, Kojo and Amari Thomas have been his number 1 and number 2 all season long. Now, without the threat of Stephon Johnson making plays going deep, it's just maybe a little easier to hone in. Kenneth Bowman mentioned during the weekly preview show leading up that he's also dealing with an injury, or something's bothering him. And they mentioned in the TV broadcast today about his arm, his shoulder is giving him some kind of issues. How much that's actually impacting him, only he knows. But definitely when it comes to just outside of that aspect, it just seems like he's being easier to read at times. And it only comes in spurts, but it's translated into 5 interceptions over the course of the past 2 days, or past 2 weeks, I should say. And that's something that, just needs to be cleaned up. And I mean, there's been some of the other receivers that have made big plays in spurts. He's got to build that trust and rapport with some of those other receivers, so it's not as obvious when he is trying to go to his number 1 and number 2 options.
What do you say, Dan? What do you think?
I think it must be something. But you got to think about the hits that he's taking too now with running as ball as much as he is. And so, because what surprised me is the accuracy, because he's shown spots where he's been really, really accurate with the football, even on intermediate and deep throws. And so, I think that's probably one of the most things. But 2 of those picks tonight was good plays by the DB and high point of the ball. And so, I think it's a combination of things. But I wouldn't be surprised if something probably laboring him and impacting that. But for the most part, surprising me is the inaccuracy, because he's proved throughout most of this season to be accurate passing and be cautious with the football. And so, part of the game, but he made the plays that we needed.
And if he is, I mean, if he is banged up and if his arm, shoulder, elbow, whatever is banged up, the coach and play calling with those runs, that's not helping him when he goes into the piles and takes those hits on that shoulder as well. So maybe a little dump off pass to the running backs, into the flat, things like that, or something different to, look off the 1 and 2 options. Because if he is banged up, and we all think there is something different about him, then I think that's more of him needing to lean on his running backs but lean on his progressions and trust his knowledge of the game. Because if the arm is not strong enough to make certain throws, then don't do those throws. Right now, don't lock in on the receiver and look off and go to your progressions and throw it into the flat or get rid of it. Something like that. So yeah. He ran the ball how many times tonight? How many carries did he have?
He had 22.
22. Ooh, man, that's a lot of hits.
So yeah, he's getting, and that's a common thread. When you look at a lot of these box scores, like he's not only
It's so
leading them in
effective
rushing, but
though
he's getting
when
so
you get
much
that
credit.
extra blocker, and he's so patient of a runner and knows how to run and set up his block. So it's really effective though.
It is. I would like him to do a better job of putting the ball in his offhand, either hand, whichever side he's running on the field, so he could stiff arm. Because sometimes he's running with the ball in his left hand, running to the left, so he can't. He doesn't. He's not just to stiff arm anybody who's coming to pursue him. But it has been an effective option for the offense. But yeah, the hits are taking their toll on him. But he's still getting the job done for the most part. Just got to get back to being the Connor from the early part of the season and not have so many INTs like the last 2 weeks.
Oh, well, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch on that. So
let's see. Just looking at the final box scores. Again, just really shout out how good of a performance the defense had.
Defense, I was just about to say they were flying around.
5 tackles. Rook Brown, he's been phenomenal for Houston. Obviously, 2 weeks ago against Arizona State, the plays that he made, and he's just been solid. He's been a rock for this defense all season long. Carlos Allen, who was dealing with some type of injury leading into the week, didn't show any signs of it. And you go down the list, like they had a good bounce back from last week. Like you said, Kris, maybe their pride had been wounded, considering what the Mountaineers were able to do against them over the course of last week. And they had a good get-right performance against UCF.
And the team had 3 big passing plays, 15-plus yards, and then 6 big plays rushing that's gaining 10 or more yards. So good mix. Just the INTs kept this game close. Because the Cougs they had 150 more total yards than UCF.
Yeah, we don't turn the ball over. We beat them. We blow them out.
Yeah.
But that's on the road, though. Credit to, their defense making plays. We just stepped up a different tier than them. We can tell.
What do you guys think about Houston being 5-0 on the road this year?
It's impressive. I mean, no doubt. 8-2 is impressive. They've already got 2 more wins, and I thought they would this season. I had them going 6-6. I'm glad to be wrong.
I think that shows a lot to do with, to Connor's credit. I mean, I know he's making these picks, but he's a quarterback who's played in the SEC, played in packed stadiums in this big-time football team. And so I think he comes in with a certain level normally with confidence and poise that I'm sure helps lead the team. The coach, shout out to our coaches too, though. I mean, getting the boys ready, prepared on the road. tough for me, especially on the road. Maybe the crowd gets some juice because you know how that crowd be at home. So maybe they just get juiced up to be in some full crowds.
That is true. Because they've gotten some big wins and some tough, hostile environments. Just thinking back to their past two road games, Arizona State, UCF had a really, really good crowd tonight. Like you said, good credit to them and how they were able to market this game, and it seemed like a great atmosphere. Houston's got to find a way to get that at TDCU Stadium. They got one game left. I guess they have a bye week after this. They don't play again until November 22 when they take on TCU at home. The kickoff time for that has not been announced yet. Hopefully it's not another 11 a.m. kickoff, but you know what? If it is, that's still not an excuse for only 25,000 people to show up for the game.
Announced 25,000 because it was not 25,000.
Correct. But you know, that's the conversation that's been the hot topic over the course of the past week. And shoot, maybe that is why they are 5-0 on the road, because they get juiced up from a crowd.
44,000 at the bounce house. Yeah. See the Cougs get the dub. Has not been 44,000 at a home game this year, has it?
Not even close.
So, you know, that's something to strive for and get done and accomplish. Because it's a TCU in-state game, I choose to believe it won't be an 11 o'clock start. I could be wrong, but because it's Houston, TCU, Houston team Fort Worth, the network will say, yeah. I mean, it's still going to be the network decision or the conference decision. It's not a school decision. It won't start at 11.
Hopefully that's not the case. NRG Texan being slick with that comment about Willie Fritz. CB Daytona, BYU beats Texas Tech, and we somehow win out. Do you think we still belong in the title game? Well, Houston hasn't been mathematically eliminated, but I think it is a heavy, heavy long shot. I guess they would get help if Cincinnati loses this week, because obviously BYU and Texas Tech are going to play each other. But, that's still losing to West Virginia is just brutal, because it really makes it a long shot to make it to the championship game.
Yeah, it's not impossible. It's unlikely, but get to 10 wins and then worry about it right there. So Cougs do their part and not lose, not go, have a third loss, then you shall see. Andy Yanez got a lot of flack about the attendance. Dan and I touched on it. One of the things that we think should be done, especially regarding any 11 o'clock starts, there should be discussion. There should be contingencies, logistics. Okay, if it's a short week by the TV station, whatever. But if we have an 11 o'clock start, we need to open it up to students for 10,000 students to be at the game. Period. That should be the first thing up there. 11 o'clock start, 10,000 students right there. And then start advertising on different platforms. Start advertising on different radio stations, different.
They could advertise on those Rage Coogs.
Advertise here, advertise on Go Cougs, advertise not just the Chronicle, different things, because what has been done or is being done is not working. So they need to do something differently.
Here's something different they just sent out on a newsletter. That special offer. They're calling it the senior bundle for the TCU game. They get 2 tickets and a parking pass for $40. It's not bad.
Oh, that's what I probably got. I saw that on my phone. I was wondering what it was.
So it's 2 tickets plus a parking pass, starting at $40. So,
but I wonder who gets that. Who gets that email? No, who sees it? Who sees the promotion?
Well, that's a good question. Clearly, we're on some type of list.
Yeah,
I don't know what we did to get on that list, but
we are. Hopefully. I mean, it could be an alumni list. But what about folks who aren't on the list? Need to advertise on the local TV stations, advertise on the different platforms. Show those flyers on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and YouTube and all these different things. Go where your audience is, especially your younger audience. Our older alums spend more time on Twitter, X, Musk, whatever, and probably Facebook. But the younger alums and students, they're on Instagram and TikTok. Hell, my video posting, so it backs that up, So they have to do a better job of knowing where the audience is and meet the audience at those spots.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, just to give him a little leeway, his first year coming in, he's actually really seen what the landscape is like. And that's why he's hired in to be able to work through these avenues and build some of these plans and market like Kris is saying. And so, I mean, we've been seeing some good with the merch and different things like that. So I think if as long as just keep going the direction they're going, they keep trying new things like we were suggesting, it seems to be pretty open minded, willingness to talk and be kind of a man of the people. So I'm optimistic.
And I am too. He has an open door. He saw me at the basketball game on Monday, and he was joking with me and said, I haven't seen you, Kris. And I'm like, well, that's football. This is my time. This is my sport right here. So, but I think he is open, and he sees things that need to be improved and changed and done differently. Now, I think he's gotten some pushback from some of the changes he has suggested and proposed. So he's trying to work on getting people to realize that those things that were done in the past need to change. So he is still getting some pushback from that, despite the obvious issues about the lack of attendance. There are still folks in denial on campus in the administration, which is a sad thing to say, but that is also reality.
Biology. Daniel's last comment. He says finishing 10-2 and being a preseason top 25 for next year would help, especially if they win their bowl game.
It would help because Houston loves a winner, and Houston does have a lot
And
of.
then with the hype that we got coming in next year, and be able to
that recruiting class,
market and build campaigns around players and do a way better job of marketing Coach Fritz. I think they've dropped the ball tremendously on marketing Coach Fritz. It should be cameras in practice, a camera following him, merch with all the little isms that he say, and kind of introducing him in a YouTube-like series of minute camp, fall camp, and have these different videos that you really pushing out. You can't see the ins and outs and interviewing the players and having features about players and learning. And so it's a lot of different ways that videos people want to go and be able to go to YouTube. Basketball should do the same thing. They shouldn't make it to where they just posting the same way. Let's just keep it things the same as been.
Yeah,
Take it to the next level. I mean, it's a lot of things that they could do. You know how good you can market Coach Sampson. So it's a lot of things that can be done.
and I think I saw the comment about marketing, and to put in quotes, marketing isn't the problem. It is a problem because
it's not the only problem, but
it's not the only problem because certain fan bases are not being touched. They aren't being reached. And in our situation, with our sparse attendance, because we're all alums, have to do things differently if you want more people to come to the games. We have to give those folks reason to come to the games. And reaching out to them, meeting them where they are, on whatever platform they're on, that's on UH marketing, UH athletics, to do that. And Dayon is right. Some of my, buddies my age, how many billboards do we see leading up to this season? How many promotions? That's the old school way, but that works with my generation, the generation that's not on TikTok and Instagram and the social media platform like that. You got to do things differently for different audiences, and we're not doing it.
Let's focus on one thing that they are doing, and that's every time I see this on my timeline, I always got to put it up because it's one of the things. Hold up, let me put it full screen here. Can never get too old of seeing Willie Fritz crowd surf with the team after a win. So more stuff like that is what UH needs to continue to post. And like Dayon
But
said,
just like,
to
but like you can add on to that. Like we see
yeah,
just that video. What about the
the
prelude and small
speech
segments?
Yeah.
would lead to it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Small segments that lead to it. Building up and videos that's anticipating during the week. Let Coach Fritz talk about why the tradition, what it like, all that it builds. Like it's just a lot. I think that could be done in ways that they can do it. I think they really need a shakeup because, in my opinion, it's a lot of the people that I think has been there for a while and used to. They might say, "Okay, let's try to do a little trends," but ultimately, they just kind of it don't expand so much because they don't really.
A lot of
Just know
folks
one
are
way.
set in their ways.
Yeah,
And,
basically.
you know, and honestly, some of them either need to change their mindset or need to be moved aside with folks who have different ideas for promotion. And this comment here is a concern, but it is accurate. Lots of issues with services in the stadium, poor service, running out of food, bathroom issues, parking costs, those different things, especially for if you have reached a person who was a first time attendee of a game at the stadium. If we made a bad impression on them, they're not coming back. Because the adage is true. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So if we leave a bad taste in those folks who have decided, I'm going to check out the football game today. I saw an ad on Twitter or whatever. I saw the guys on Let's Rage Coogs talk about it, challenge me to come to a game. I'm going to go to a game. And then when they get there, Wi-Fi stinks, food is bad, the service was bad. They got disrespected by a concessionaire or whatever. Then that taste would be like, I tried it and I didn't like my experience. Well, then you've lost that person for a long, long time. So that also needs to be part of doing a better job of making people want to come back if you get them to come to the game in the first place.
Price
Price of
go
beer,
ahead.
I mean,
That seems to be the main comment. Ferguson, four pieces of marketing: price, product placement, and promotion. He says that Houston gets a big F in price and promotion as of now.
we could suggest certain things to the people, pass it by, run it by Eddie. And I'll do what I can, reach out to him. If I see him tomorrow at the basketball game, before the game, I'll try to bend his ear and then follow up with him. Because this football season is a winning season.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got talent coming in. You keep majority of the talent, you retain it. So you have hype going into next season. Well, that hype needs to begin after the bowl game.
Yeah.
And start with getting ideas out there for people. Hey, we got blah, 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 blah. We got a top ranked recruiting class. I don't know what it's ranked, whatever, But coming off a bowl victory or bowl appearance, make sure you come see your Cougs in year 3 under Coach Fritz. Bigger and better things. We're going to do promotions, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this, that, the other. We're going to do our part to get you to come see and support your Cougs for the city. All that kind of stuff. Start that stuff early.
Yeah.
Talk to Dayon. Talk to Andy. Talk to me. Talk to other folks. Don't talk to the same people that you're talking to.
Chris Mitchell kind of echoing what we said, experience at home games has to be superb. Our athletic goals are always in pursuit of excellence and cleanliness. The comment disappeared for a second. And service has to be the same. So again, like you mentioned, Kris, you never know when it's going to be someone's first time, and you got to make sure you leave a good first impression. They go a long way. And Justin Singleton mentioned the renovations that Rice University announced. What did they, correct me if I'm wrong, $120 million they're going to invest into their Rice Stadium and the surrounding area?
Oh, at least. Rice has a 10-year plan, a 30-year plan, and then a 50-year plan. So
Wow.
phasing out the upper part of Rice Stadium, which had been needed for years.
About time. Yeah, that thing is.
Now you talk about, we are, and rightly so,
I've
making
been in this
critical discussion about UH athletics and UH football attendance. Rice football attendance is
Worse.
a rumor. It is a rumor. They don't draw well at all at Rice football.
They still like high fines.
So
Ball Stadium is.
Yeah. I mean, Rice Stadium for football games probably has larger crowds for high school playoff games than for Rice football games. So seeing some of the drawings and the renderings for what they ultimately going to do with football stadium, well, that's a nice dream. They got cars full, all in the parking lot. Parking lot's full of cars and people all. And I'm like, yeah, what Rice is this? Because this is the Rice I've seen the last 20 years. But okay. But they are trying something now. We'll see if it does anything going forward for them, because all that's nice, but they don't really invest in Rice football either, in terms of NIL, all that kind of stuff either. So we'll see if they change that as well.
Well, that's pretty much going to do it for this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Once again, the final score from Orlando, Florida. Houston comes out on top with the 30-27 victory. They overcome a double-digit deficit. They trailed 14-24 right before halftime. They were able to drive down and get that field goal to cut it to just a touchdown deficit at halftime, and they outscored UCF 13-3 in that second half. Again, final stats, in case you're just joining us, Wegman finished 20 for 31, 223 passing yards, threw for 2 passing touchdowns, threw those 3 interceptions, including that one pick six. Tanner Kojo led the team in receiving catches with 8 for 66 yards. Amari Thomas led the team in receiving yards. He had 5 catches for 103 yards, and Connor Wegman led the way in rushing for Houston, 82 rushing yards on 22 attempts. DJ Butler was the lead back with 69 rushing yards on 14 attempts. Dean Connors right behind him, 10 carries for 68 yards. And with the win, Houston improves to 8-2. Like I said, 5-2, their conference record in the Big 12. They'll take a week off. They'll be back November 22 when they take on TCU at TDCU Stadium for their final home game of the season. Obviously, they'll be celebrating the class of 2025 seniors on that game as well. And ultimately, it wasn't pretty, but the most important thing, they came away with a victory. And they'll be looking to finish up their home slate with a victory over a Texas rival and foe.
And wrapping it up, 5-2 in the Big 12. So that means a winning record in Big 12 play.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
For the first time ever. Correct.
So that's a start. So it was an ugly win tonight, but it was a win. We're talking about ways to improve attendance at home. And as one viewer said, and probably many people who watch Let's Rage Coogs acknowledge, folks who watch LRC aren't the issue. They support the Cougs. They support us. They go to the games. We have to reach out and get other people who don't come to the games and don't know about LRC and don't know about the football team and Coach Fritz and all that. Got to get those fans, those people to become fans. But the important thing with that is, if you get them at the stadium, you need to do a great job of one of them to come back a second time and a third time. and make that first experience memorable in a good way rather than memorable in a crappy way. This sucked. I'm not coming back here ever again. This was awful. But last thing, Cougs won 30-27 over UCF to improve to 8-2. Join me, Dayon and Fluff, in a few hours as we recap Houston versus Towson in men's basketball on the next edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Subscribe to the Houston Round Ball Review on YouTube and become a member of the YouTube membership section and learn how you can receive a gift from Star Pizza. And as Houston Round Ball Review, I'm proud to say it, since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective.
Yeah, I'm glad to get the win over again in the Space U game. But more importantly, just how it looked, we still didn't lose that type of game. I mean, I can remember in years past where 3 turnovers, defense just folds and it becomes a blowout. Stayed in it, won the game. So it's just a testament to the coaching staff and what they're building, what they're installing. And also, just like Kris is saying, we're all former Cougs. We want to give the best advice to help bring more eyes, money, revenue, everything that's needed to make us the well-rounded football team and program, an institution that we want to be. And so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to tomorrow to the men's come out and get that done and join us on Let's Race Coogs. Go Coogs.